Hi there. So we had a message that we wanted to relay to all of you. Now we went out for a walk along the sea, and we pulled up a rock and we sat down there to just take in that moment, to allow the sun to warm us, to allow the wind, the breeze to blow through us, to listen to the waves, the water, and to just allow that moment to really bring us into a space. And we're going to call that space a 5-dimensional space. Why? Well, the fact of the matter is that while we were there, our world shifted. Our reality shifted right there in that moment. And the divine would like to remind each of us that this is not unusual. This is not a rare occurrence. We just have to, 1, pay attention, and 2, allow. So as it was shared with me, like, you've got this, you know this, you've known this already. And yes, it's true, I have done this before. I would say the last 2 years it's been a little more challenging to find the absolute perfect serenity, especially when outside, out there, and with people around. If I go out into an isolated or secluded spot, it's much easier when there's no one else around. In this particular case, there were people around me. There were people right there in my vortex. It didn't matter. So now we're going to try to explain this the best way that we can. So as I allowed myself to breathe this in, I allowed myself to communicate with the earth, with the waves, with the wind, with the sun. I allowed myself to relax into that moment and only be in that moment in time. All thoughts of everything else. And even as I looked up at the sky and I was like, oh, look at the lines that they're making in the sky. And I was reminded, remember, it's not real. It's not part of your reality. Don't make it. And you remember that doesn't affect you. You can live in this 3D world, this matrix. And you can live in, it's like this bubble, this sphere. And I'm going to try to give you the best example I can of this. If you had ever watched Wonder Woman or the Black Panther, and how they were here on Earth, but it's like as if their world was in this sphere, and this sphere, outsiders couldn't enter it. They were protected in this sphere. They had a beautiful life in that. They could leave it and go into the world as we know it, but they could go back to their home and live as they lived. And don't go any further than that in the story. Don't allow yourself to go any further than that. The whole point is that's it. And so as I'm sitting there, I can actually see the sphere that is there around me. I'm out on this rock formation that goes out into the sea. The beach is behind me. The sea is completely in front of me. There's someone fishing on the end of this rock formation, and I'm here. I pulled up a nice rock and I'm laid out. I have my legs stretched out in front of me and I'm leaning back on my arms and I'm just taking it all in. And it was in that moment, just listening to the waves, feeling the sun, feeling the wind, looking up and having seen those lines, the clouds, the lines, and having that message, that voice come to me and say, remember that it's not real. Stay in your beautiful world. Stay in what it is that you're creating. And it was just in that moment where I was like, okay. And all I thought was, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful space. What beautiful energy. What communication. What gloriousness. What bliss. What peace. What calm. What tranquility. And as I'm doing this, I'm becoming more and more grounded. And next thing I know, I can see it. I can see literally, and the best way to describe it is you can see like this energy field that is around you. And mine was pretty big. It encapsulated, engulfed other people. But those people, it doesn't mean that they are technically in my energy field. It just simply means I created this huge space which went out quite far. And I was able to relax there, be there, enjoy that space, and not be adversely affected by anyone or anything else that was happening or going on around me. So what does this mean? This means that when we practice living in 5D, that's what it is. That's all it is. That was a very simple effort, simple shift. And we would like for you to go out there and try it yourselves. Go out there and get into nature. Now, I can do this from my home, but I loved the fact that I was able to do that outside in nature while there was a lot of people on the beach because it was a beautiful day and lots of people out there. There was even someone on the rock formation that was outstretched into the water doing their fishing. And even someone walked right through. Someone walked right through, and I saw him clear as day. I mean, I noticed him, and he went and he sat down halfway in between myself and the fisherman. And I mean, he's even pulling out a beer as he's going to drink it, and I'm looking at that going, that's interesting. And that's it, just go like this, that's interesting. This is where you can notice things, but you don't give any attention. You don't have any reaction to it. You don't put anything else into it. Just go, that's interesting. And go back to the water, go back to the birds, go back to the fish, go back to whatever else is there, and go back to the sky. Relax into that thing that you're creating. And it was a very obvious energy field that I was in. And I felt completely at home, at peace, and wonderful there. So it is our recommendation to you to now try this. You just be there, be in that, allow that. No thoughts of anything negative, no thoughts of anything that's going on in the world, no thoughts of any of the problems that you have. That's not what you're bringing into this space. This is 5D space. 5D is strictly gratitude. It's strictly unconditional love. It's just all the high vibrational frequencies. Anyway, so that's the message that we wanted to share with you today. And to remember that that transitioning between one particular reality or dimension, remembering that we are in a multiverse. There's so many dimensions that are going on around us. We're in a multiverse. You can just slip right into that one and be in that. And you can stay in that. You can take it with you. You can bring it back home with you. That's just one. So thank you for listening.